Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a new deck profile. Today I'm going to be doing Ice Barriers. Now this is a very, very underrated deck. A lot of people say it is probably one of the worst decks in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! But I have to disagree. It does have a couple of little hiccups here and there. It's a little interesting of a deck. I know it's the meme of the deck does not synergize at all, and it does have its problems, but it is actually a really interesting deck because it has given us one of the most, or probably three of the most interesting synchro monsters of all time with the three dragons of the Ice Barrier. Now, it's a really good deck if you kind of tweak around with it and play around with it. I would not carry this to regionals. It's definitely a locals based deck. It's actually a lot of fun with how I've built it, and I really recommend you guys actually play around with it if you want to try out Ice Barriers. It's a lot of fun to play around with, and it focuses mainly on summoning Gandala and getting his effect off quite a lot. So, without further ado, guys, let's get straight into it and see what I'm playing. So, before we get into that, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell on there so you can comment part of the notification squad. And if you're not subscribed, definitely do so you can keep up with all my Yu-Gi-Oh content. So let's get straight into this, guys. So, it took me a lot of time to build this deck, needless to say. So, first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Gandala, or General Gandala of the Ice Barrier. He's probably the best of the 3 generals because during your end phase, he's a monster reborn for a Ice Barrier monster, except another copy of himself, and he comes out at 2700 attack. The problem with Ice Barriers is that they kind of focus around the old true eating mechanic, and it's really hard to do that nowadays because they don't have a lot of special summons in the deck. So I kind of had to tweak it a little bit. So I'll show you how I get him out. So don't worry about it. We're going to get him out very easily. Then I play 1 copy of General Gunard of the Ice Barrier. I just play 1 copy. He gives us an extra normal summon. Sometimes I summon him, sometimes I don't. But the nice thing is that he's a different level as our Gandala. He's a level 8, where Gandala is a level 7. So it kind of helps us out quite a lot. But he gives us the extra normal summon, which really helps out. Then I play 1 copy of General Yugioh of the Ice Barrier. You only really want 1 copy of him. He's a really interesting card. You could make a deck solely based around him. Like, you could make a deck solely based around any of the generals. I like to throw in all 3. Gandala being the best in my opinion because at the end phase he gives you a monster reborn. Yugioh gives you the ability that when an effect resolves that was activated by an opponent's effect monster on the field, they can discard a card, and if they don't, the effect is negated. So you just instantly negate an effect if they don't discard something. So it's really interesting. Then I play 1 copy of Medium. Now this card actually special summons itself, so it's a really interesting card. I've considered bumping it up to more than 1, but I'm just playing as a 1-of. If your opponent controls 4 or more cards, and more cards than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand, and your opponent can only activate 1 spell or trap per turn. So it's really interesting. It's kind of like Great Shogun almost, but it special summons itself if your opponent has 4 or more cards. So it's pretty interesting, and I love how it's got Bryonic hovering behind her. I only play 1 copy of Shirin Doji. When it's normal or flip summoned, it is changed to defense position. And face-up Ice Barrier monsters you control cannot be destroyed by spells or traps effects, which isn't too rare, or it's not pretty rare now. I've thought about dropping Shirin Doji for a second medium, but that's just me. I haven't run into the problem where Shirin Doji's been a problem, but it's okay. I play 3 copies of Defender. This is a card that I kind of based the deck around. I kind of based it around summoning Gandala and then continuously summoning Defender. While you control another face-up Ice Barrier monster, monsters your opponent control cannot declare an attack if their attack is greater than or equal to this card's defense. So basically, it says monsters that have 1600 or more attack or have 1600 attack cannot attack, period. So that kind of helps you with link summoning. Cryomancer made it so level 4 and higher can attack, so that kind of sucked. So I kind of made it more focused around Defender. I even went through a Ties of the Brethren build, where I was trying to do Ties of the Brethren with this deck, and it just did not work very well. So the next card that we play is 3 copies of Prior to the Ice Barrier. Prior to the Ice Barrier is, if you control a face-up Ice Barrier monster, you can instantly special summon from your hand, but he does have a restriction that kind of sucks, and I wish it wasn't here, because it would really assist the deck, and it wouldn't really hurt the deck either if he didn't have this restriction. Level 5 or higher monsters, the turn you use this effect, you cannot special summon any level 5 or higher monsters, which I think is stupid. And then you contribute him to target Ice Barrier monster in your graveyard, except another copy of himself, and special summon it. So if you can keep him on the field, and you have like one of these guys in the grave, one of your generals, you can tribute him next turn and then bring them out, which is kind of slow, but at the same time, he helps us make totally awesome because he's an Aqua monster level 2, so that helps. I only play 2 copies of Strategist. Strategist effect is basically you discard an Ice Barrier and then you get to draw a card. He helps me get my brick generals out of my hand to kind of revive them later. That's how I get them out usually, is I just revive them out of the grave with something. Then I play 1 copy of Spellbreaker. Spellbreaker is basically like, it's kind of like anti-spell fragrance. Once per turn, you can send an Ice Barrier monster from your hand to the grave. Kind of helps out there. Getting the generals out of my hand, and if you do, spell cards cannot be activated until the end phase of your next turn, as long as this card remains face up on the field. So you have like her and Defender, it's really hard for your opponent to activate spells or attack you, so it really helps out that way. And then finally, I play 1 copy of Secret Guards of the Ice Barrier. I kind of left it in here. It's okay. Face up Ice Barrier monsters you control cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects, monster effects, so it helps out with like Borreloads and stuff like that. If your opponent does activate something like that against your Gundala when you swing, it can kind of cause a problem. So that's when we play Secret Guards, just in case. So that's it for the monsters, guys. I'm pretty satisfied with the monster lineup. You can kind of play around with it to be more stun-based if you want to. Or if you really want to go the route of playing, like, you could even go, like, play Wetlands in this deck and play Ties of the Brethren and make it more of a beatdown deck. And more focus on the level 2s if you want to go that route. I tried that and it just didn't, it was a little clunky to me. So I kind of went more towards the summoning the generals from graveyard and going after my opponent with their effects. So that's what I figured I was going to try and do, and synchro summoning just a little bit. We do play, and I will say Defender is a tuner, so that's an option there. So that's it for the monsters. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we are going to be playing, let's see, we're going to be playing a Monster Reborn, because you need Monster Reborn. It kind of helps out just bringing back our generals. Foolish Burial, same thing. Foolish Burial just gets our generals in grave, so we can kind of go off from there. It really helps out to be able to Foolish Burial one of them in the grave and then instantly Monster Reborn it, because then at the end phase, you're going to get to bring back one of your other monsters, like one of your generals, which is really nice. Well, like if you bring back Gundala, you're going to bring back another Ice Barrier as well, because he's like walking Monster Reborn every end phase of your turn. I play 1 Magic Triangle. I thought about bumping this up higher. I love the artwork of it because it's got all 3 generals on it. And then you reveal 3 Ice Barriers in your hand, and then destroy a monster your opponent, or destroy a you select 1 card your opponent controls, and then you destroy the opponent's card, and then special summon 1 Ice Barrier from your hand. I really like this card, but I really think it's a 1-of. 1 copy of Monster Gate. You tribute a monster on the field. You guys know what Monster Gate does. Tribute a monster, reveal cards on the top of your deck to normal or special summon a monster. This helps me get the generals out as well, along with Reasoning. Reasoning really helps me dump cards out of my deck really fast. And usually, like, I have a good chance that my opponent's going to call 4, or they're going to call 3, but since everything just about has a different level, like we go from 2s to 3s, 4s. I don't think I have a 5. I have 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 8. So it's really easy to hit something and special summon it for free. 2 Moray of Greeds. Sometimes you will draw generals and brick. I'm going to be totally honest with you. You're going to brick a little bit. So that's why I play Moray. I play 2 copies of Surface because it helps us bring back our level 3 and lower Ice Barrier monsters to just kind of swarm the field a little bit more. It adds that swarm aspect. I only play 1 Salvage. Because I don't play that many that are 1500 or less attack. I mean, I play quite a few, but I don't want to bring them all back. So I just play 1 Salvage for that, whoopsie, I need something back kind of scenario. 3 copies of Medallion of the Ice Barrier. Medallion really helps out because it lets you add any of them to hand, like any Ice Barrier monster to your hand. 2 copies of Aqua Set. All water monsters gain 300 attack, and all Aqua, this has to do with Aqua actresses, but you don't really have to do that. But if it's sent to the graveyard from the field, you can target an Aqua monster in your grave and special summon it. Also, you cannot special summon monster for the rest of the turn except Aqua monsters. Usually it's going to be your opponent that pops this by accident or something and they don't read it. And that happens quite often. 2 Aqua Stage. Aqua Stage is really good. It's probably better than Aqua Set. I use this because it lets all water monsters not be able to destroy a battle with a non-water monster. And then if this card is sent from the field to the grave, you can target an aqua monster in your grave and special summon it. Same thing as the other one. So that's pretty much what I use that for. The only thing is that kind of sucks is all the generals are like warriors and, you know, medians and Shirandoji or spellcasters, so it kind of doesn't help me there, but it brings back other stuff. 2 Call by the Graves, or 3 Call by the Graves, I mean. I play Call by the Grave because it just helps me bring back stuff. Like, if they Ash Blossom me while I'm bringing back something or sending something to grave, I really want to stop that so I can get more plays off. So that's it for the spells, guys. For the traps, I'm only playing 3 traps in the deck. I didn't really have room for hand traps in this deck, so I didn't play them. I just play Call by the Grave. I'm playing 3 copies of Back to the Front. Back to the Front really helps bring back generals at my opponent's turn. Like, if I bring back Gendala with this, it's really going to hurt my opponent. Or I can stun my opponent a little bit with this and bring back, like, Ryo and put him in defense position, and then they have to discard stuff, and if they have already used all the cards in their hand, they pretty much can't resolve monster effects, which is cool. So 3 Back to the Fronts is really optimal for this deck. If you want to play Call of the Haunted, you can if you want to go more aggressive, but I just play that. But that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get in the extra deck really quick. So I play 1 copy of Trishula because it's Trishula and it's an Ice Barrier deck. You have to play it. 1 copy of Gungnir, same thing. It's an Ice Barrier deck. You need the 3 dragons. And it's easy to synchro these out really easily. And then a Brionac. Brionic's a little tough to get out in the deck. You kind of have to put, like, it's really weird because this deck has like a level 3 tuner. So you really have to put in one of the level 2 tuners. You could probably substitute this out for another Toad. I kind of just put it in here because it was there. So you could probably put a Totally Awesome in here. Because the only tuner we have is Defender. So it's really hard to get that out. Then I play White Aura Whale. You can go into this pretty easily in the deck. 1 Cyframe Lord Omega as well. I just kind of threw these in because you can make them pretty easily. And then Black Rose Dragon. Black Rose Dragon's also pretty easy to make in this deck. So you can play those too. Then I play 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller, yeah, but like I said, I don't really use the extra deck all that much. I just kind of use Gendala. So this is kind of just suggestion cards that you can throw in here. Usually I just go for like Toad and Trish, and that's it. I usually don't even make these 2 at all because they're really hard to. You can actually drop Secret Guards for Cryomancer, and it's a little easier to go into. But it's tough to make 8s. Like you only play Defender, so there are suggestions. 1 copy of Toad, or 2nd copy of Toad. I play 2 Toads in here usually, but it's an option. Boral Sword and Boral Load because you can make them really easily. Nightmare Unicorn and 2 Mistar Boys because they're here. And then Phoenix and Cerberus because it's really easy to make them too. But like I said, I'll probably drop the White Aura Whale and the Cyframe Lord Omega. They're not great in the deck because they're really hard to summon out because you have to side out this and then you'd only have 1 tuner. So that's all I'd really do. I was playing those when I was playing Cryomancer, I think, and it was really tough to get out. So anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. It's a really fun deck. It's really weird, and it's really tough to build because, like, you have to play around with it quite a lot and figure out what plays best for you. And I felt like this was the best way to play it. You could probably even play Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon in here because these are level 7s. And you could make it, and then it would just hurt your opponent by burning your opponent with it. But anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.